Bears are terrifying creatures of the wild. But what happens when you 10 times the size of a normal bear and give them superhuman powers? Well, you get the Demon Bear. The Demon Bear is one of the most terrifying enemies of the X-Men. The Demon Bear first started out by haunting Danielle Moonstar's dreams and somehow coming into reality, intending to destroy her. Although the true origins of this creature are still unknown, we assume that it can be an ode to Native American culture. The Native Americans used to treat bears as revered entities, and since Danielle was a Native American, the Demon Bear was associated with her origins, as it was one of her greatest fears. In today's video, we will dive deep into the origins of this formidable enemy of the X-Men. But before we get started with the video, we have a small request for you. If you like our content, subscribe to us and like this video. It might just be a simple click for you, but it means a lot to us. So let's get started. Dreams turned nightmares, tracing the sinister origins of Marvel's Demon Bear. Demon Bear is one of the most terrifying villains of the X-Men, especially of the New Mutants team. The Demon Bear is closely linked with Danielle Moonstar, often called the Mirage. At first, Danielle thought of it as an entity that only appeared in her dreams. But soon, this Demon Bear manifested in reality and started haunting her because of her underlying fear of bears. This entity is also responsible for the deaths of Danielle's parents. She kept the appearance of the Demon Bear in her dreams a secret from her team because she was afraid that they might think she was crazy. The real nature of this entity is still unknown. It's not clear if it is actually a physical entity or the physical manifestation of Danielle's powers, or if it is a nightmare brought upon by Professor X when he was possessed by the Brood Queen. We get our first glimpse of the Demon Bear in the New Mutants comic issue number 17, released in 1984. The comic starts after the members of the New Mutants are captured by the White Queen, who created her own team of X-Men called the Hellions to fight Professor Xavier's New Mutants. In New Mutants issue number 16, during the New Mutants fight with the Hellions, Illyana transported herself and Danielle to her limbo to escape being captured by the White Queen. In the New Mutants issue number 17, we see that Emma Frost has captured the New Mutants team and is forcing them to join the Hellions team. In Limbo, Danny and Illyana wake up and find themselves surrounded by demons. But it turns out that Illyana is the ruler of this dimension. They are taken to a safe place by Sim, the demon ruler of Limbo, who considers Illyana to be the boss. Illyana then heals herself with a powerful spell and transports herself and Danny to Earth to save their friends from captivity. But when they reach the lair of the White Queen, they find that their friends have joined the Hellions and are all buddy-buddy with the other members. This sparks the question of how they joined the Hellions so fast. This is when Danny points out that they are 1 year ahead in the future, meaning that Illyana can travel through both space and time. They are suddenly ambushed by the White Queen, who recognizes their presence with the help of her telepathy and tries to stop them. Illyana transports herself and Danny again and arrives a week after the capture of the New Mutants. They decide it's the best Illyana can do and go ahead to save the New Mutants. Danny enters the confinement chamber to save everyone, while Illyana guards the door. As it turns out, the Hellions ambushed them, and Illyana was made unconscious with the help of a nerve pinch from Warpath. The Hellions make it clear that they are against the forced recruitment by the White Queen and want to duel it out to see who is better, the New Mutants or the Hellions. Danny makes the tough decision and agrees to the duel. The first match was between Jetstream and Cannonball. The match takes place in the Combat Room, which is a ripped-off version of the Danger Room created by Professor X. The New Mutants defeat the Hellions, and Illyana transports everyone to the Xavier Mansion. When they reach there, Danny suddenly hears a hushed voice claiming it's coming for her, and Danny looks visibly shaken upon seeing a bear-like creature. In the next issue, the New Mutants train in the Danger Room, but Illyana and Danny sit it out. Professor Xavier is out on a trip to Massachusetts, and Danny is afraid because she has been having nightmares about the demon bear all week. And every time, the bear seems more terrifying than before. Danny then enters the danger room, where she practices fighting against a giant bear. She is visibly terrified and asks Illyana to stop the projection. Illyana asks her why she's training to fight a bear, and Danny hides the truth, saying she's just preparing to hold her own end when they confront a terrifying foe the next time. Illyana is suspicious of her, but she still doesn't ask many questions. But as they leave the danger room, we clearly see the image of the demon bear being projected in the shadows, and it appears that this entity is tailing Danielle Moonstar. Moonstar then ponders her decision to not tell the team about this, and thinks this is something she needs to deal with alone. She paints herself with the paint Native Americans used before going for a battle, and heads out to confront her biggest fear and foe in the cold. She goes out with a bow and arrow and asks the demon bear to show itself. The demon bear appears, but Moonstar is determined to defeat it and take revenge for the deaths of her parents. At first, she struggles against the demon bear, but with her newfound resolve, she easily defeats this creature and thinks that her nightmare is over. Meanwhile, Rain wakes up from her sleep, screaming Danny's name. She calls the team and asks them to rush out. Rain has a special telepathic link with Danny, and she senses that something has happened to her. The team rushed out and found Danny severely injured and losing a lot of blood. They are unsure what happened to her, but everyone is terrified to see Danny in this condition. Illyana Rasputin confronted and cleaved the demon bear. In the New Mutants issue number 19, we see that the mutants find Danielle Moonstar severely wounded after she goes out to fight her fear and defeat the demon bear. They rush Danny to the nearest medical center, which happens to be Mid-County Medical Center. Here, the doctors rush Danny immediately into the operation theater after discovering multiple lacerations, subluxated vertebrae, skull trauma, possible abdominal trauma, and concussion. Along with that, she had lost a lot of blood, and the doctors claim that it's a miracle that she is even alive. The New Mutants wait outside the operation theater, praying for the speedy recovery of their friend. They are greeted by County Police Chief Tom Corsi, who inquires about the incident. The doctors claim that it appears that she has been attacked by a wild animal, possibly a bear. Tom Corsi claims it's impossible because it's Westchester County, and no bears can be found miles away from here. The New Mutants clarify that Danny has no parents, and Professor Xavier is her legal guardian. He's out on a business trip to Massachusetts and will be arriving by tomorrow. Corsi then sets out to investigate the incident. The mutants are angry at themselves for not believing Danny when she tries to talk about the demon bear appearing in her dreams. They ignored her claims and thought she just had a fear of bears. But as it turns out, her fear was not in vain, and this demon bear was actually real. Sam then asks Rain to use her mental connection with Danny to contact her and figure out what happened to her. Rain turns into a half-human and half-werewolf version and tries to converse with Danny. Danny says that the demon bear is responsible for all this and will return to finish its job. She tries telling Rain something more, but this interrupts her treatment, making her condition even worse. Rain turns back to her human form and cries in regret that it's because of her carelessness that Danny's condition worsened. Sam takes the blame, as he was the one who asked Rain to contact Danny. But now they were sure that the demon bear would attack the hospital when Danny was the most vulnerable, and they needed to protect Danny no matter what. Rain transforms into her werewolf form and stands near the operating room to check if Danny is all right. But suddenly, Tom Corsi arrives and starts shooting at her as he witnesses a wolf on the hospital premises. Rain runs to a corridor and turns back into her human form. Tom finds her and thinks he's hallucinating because of the stress. She takes Rain back to the waiting room, talks with Mrs. Sharon, the nurse, and asks if the girl is doing well. Sharon says that Danny's a fighter and she's fighting for her life, and the doctors are doing their best to keep her safe. Right about then, we see that the demon bear has arrived inside the hospital premises. It attacks Tom and Sharon, and the gunshot sound wakes the mutants. They wake up to find that the demon bear is inside the building. Meanwhile, Ileana was creating a force field to protect Danny's operation room. Casting this spell took a lot from her, because it converted her life energy into a protective lair. Once the spell is cast, Ileana falls down because of weakness, but Roberto catches her, asking if the spell will successfully keep the bear away. Suddenly, they are attacked by the demon bear. Sunspot tries fighting it, but the bear smacks it. Ileana summons her soul sword and attacks the bear with it, and the bear runs away. Inside the operation theater, the doctors are trying their best to fix Danny, but claim that even if she survives, she will never be able to move or walk. Outside the hospital premises, the demon bear attacks the hospital again, but the New Mutants run to protect it. They give it a tough fight, and the demon bear suddenly casts a spell and transports the New Mutants, Tom, Sharon, and Danny's operation theater with himself to his own dimension called the Badlands. After arriving there, the demon bear pierces the bodies of Tom and Sharon, converts them into Native Americans, and sends them to fight the mutants. The bear's enchantment has physically enhanced Tom and Sharon, and the mutants are having a difficult time fighting them. Ileana was completely taken out of the fight because if she used more energy, the protective spell around the operation theater would break, and the demon bear would kill Danny. The New Mutants were struggling to fight the bear and the Native Americans. Thus, Ileana summons her sword and decides to fight. She discovers that her sword can turn back the transformation of the Native Americans and negate the bear's magic spells. So Ileana asks Rain to link back to Danny and ask her how to defeat this bear. Rain is unwilling to do so because she fears this will kill Danny, but Ileana convinces her. In the meantime, Ileana defeats Tom and returns him to his normal self, but he still looks like a Native American. Rain contacts Danny and finds that the demon is afraid of Ileana's sword, which gives Ileana the idea to defeat this bear. She asks Cannonball to take her with him to the bear. Cannonball does so, and Ileana cuts the demon bear in half using her sword. As soon as she does, the bear's magic is negated. 2 humans come out of the demon bear, and everyone is transported back to the hospital. The mutants collect themselves and discover that the appearance of Tom and Sharon has not changed, and they are still Red Indians. Then, 2 humans walk into the hospital and claim they'll remain so for the rest of their lives because the demon bear transformed their souls. They reverted their bodies back, but Ileana's magic can't turn their souls back. Upon hearing the noise, the doctor comes out of the operation theater and asks what this ruckus is about. The humans then introduce themselves as William and Peg Lone Star and claim to be Danny's parents. They ask the doctor how their daughter is doing. The doctor says she's alive but is paralyzed. Right about then, the mutants are collectively contacted telepathically by Professor Xavier, and he sends a healer along with Storm to heal Danny. The healer does his work and turns Danny back to her usual self. Danny then meets her parents, who claim that they weren't killed by the demon bear, but were enslaved by it. They further clarify that the demon bear has consumed their bodies and made them attack Danny to consume her and become even more powerful. A few days later, Professor Xavier returned and claimed that people of magic would handle all the damage done during this period, as X-Men are incapable of using magic, and it's best to leave it to the professionals. This story ends with the death of the demon bear, and it seems that the threat has been averted. But the demon bear appears again in the X-Force comics issue number 8, released in 2008. Demon Bear is still alive. The Demon Bear makes another appearance in X-Force issue number 8, which was released in 2008. The story of this comic starts with James Proudstar, who often goes by the name Warpath and is a prominent member of the X-Force. We see James driving across the American Southwest when an unknown entity suddenly attacks his car and it explodes. As it turns out, James was not injured. He wakes up after being unconscious, picks up his daggers and says he will slay a creature he calls Gotal. Later, we see Warpath arrive at Camp Verity burial site in Arizona and call out the beast who attacked him. And to our surprise, the creature that comes out is the Demon Bear. Warpath attacks the bear with his dagger, but it turns out that the dagger does no damage to him. The Demon Bear throws him and he hits a mountain. Warpath realizes that he can't touch this bear, but this bear can touch him. Meanwhile, 97 miles away, we see Johnny Blaze riding his bike and hear the roar of the Demon Bear. In Arizona, James tries to attack the Demon Bear relentlessly, but fails every time. The Demon Bear then pins James and is about to end his life. But Ghost Rider arrives and takes Warpath with him. James then wakes up to find himself alive and in the company of Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider asks James to get ready, as he will teach him how to kill demons. Ghost Rider then tells James about the legacy of his tribe and imbues him with the strength to tap into the spirit plane. He tells James that he will be turned into a monster slayer, and this ceremony is called the Ghost Dance. Warpath and Ghost Rider then come to the Demon Bear's lair and start attacking it. Their attack seems to be hitting the bear, but the bear is fast and attacks them back. Ghost Rider suspects that this bear might have gone insane or might be in pain. James finds a blade plunged into the creature's throat. Ghost Rider says it's a demonic blade and imbues black magic into this creature. James removes it, and it turns out it is not the Demon Bear, but the spirits of the gods of the Apache tribe. It turns out that the spirits were attacked and have been turned into a demon bear with the help of a demonic blade by none other than Eli Bard, who dug up the bodies of James' brother and his tribe members. James then comes back to Angel's Eyrie and meets the other X-Men. He says that he doesn't want to be a killer, but he has no choice and will put Eli Bard to rest. Terrifying presence of the Demon Bear in the New Mutants movie. Apart from his comic book appearances, the Demon Bear has made a live-action appearance as the main antagonist of the New Mutants, released in 2020. This was the last Fox Star Studios X-Men movie because Disney purchased the rights to the X-Men. The movie didn't do that well at the box office, but it was the first movie to introduce horror elements into a superhero movie. The movie follows Danielle Moonstar, whose father is killed by an unknown entity, and later she wakes up in a hospital run by Cecilia Reyes. She is told that she is a mutant and is kept with other mutants, who turn out to be Illyana, Rain, Sunspot, and Sam. After the arrival of Danielle in the facility, strange and eerie events start happening in the facility, where everyone is confronted with their personal demons who start harming them. But it turns out that all of these mysterious happenings were because of Danielle's powers, which she herself is unaware of. So Cecilia is ordered by her superiors to kill Danny, but Danny is saved by Rain, who has developed a special bond with Danny. Later, Cecilia makes Danny unconscious and reveals to the students that it was Danny who made them confront their biggest fears. It was Danny who was responsible for the demonic activities in the facility. Right about then, we see the Demon Bear appear and consume Cecilia. Illyana, Sunspot, and Sam try to fight this bear, but they are unable to defeat it. When the Demon Bear attacks Rain, Danny wakes up and fights her fear of bears and conquers this Demon Bear. It turns out this Demon Bear was the physical manifestation of her fears, and she has the power to make anyone live their greatest and darkest fear in reality. And she had been using it unconsciously upon her friends. This ends the Demon Bear's tale in the movie. Although we were supposed to get glimpses of this Demon Bear in the sequel to the movie, we never got one because of the Fox Star Studios and Disney deal. Extraordinary powers and abilities of Demon Bear. Although we have seen significantly less of Demon Bear in the comics and movies, we can clearly say that it is a terrifying entity, as it possesses superhuman strength. We see it use his superhuman strength to defeat Sunspot and Cannonball, who have extreme power in themselves. This demon bear also has near invulnerability, which we got to see when it survived Ileana's Soul Sword attacks, Rain's Claw attacks, and physical attacks from Sunspot and Cannonball. The demon bear is also seen to possess a fast healing factor. We have seen it injured by Magic's blades, but it recovers from it very soon. We have also seen this character use magic and teleportation powers, which it uses to teleport the New Mutants to its plane and modify the souls of Officer Tom and Nurse Sharon. We have also seen this demon bear feed into Danny's negative emotions, especially fear. Marvelous verdict. The demon bear was an eerie creature and a formidable opponent that the mutants had a hard time defeating. And sadly, we didn't get a proper origin story for this character. However, we assume that demon bear is closely linked with Native American culture and is only seen to haunt Native American characters like Danny and James. But we'd wish to see the full-fledged origin of this demonic creature and learn more about where it came from or why it haunts Native American people. Also, with the arrival of mutants in the MCU, it might not be wrong to assume that we might see the demon bear in action again. This is because Marvel is looking to focus more on its supernatural side, and since Werewolf by Night was a huge success, it might not be too late before Marvel focuses more on the spookier side of things and gives us the demon bear in its full glory. With that being said, if you like our content, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.